Triple H announces that WWE Money in the Bank 2026 will be taking place in New Orleans, Louisiana, and promises the city a future WrestleMania after the news that WrestleMania 42 now will not be taking place in New Orleans next year, with Las Vegas reportedly a prime destination for WrestleMania and possibly several future WrestleManias too. We'll let you know all of the details, all the reaction to this one. We got the ratings for Wednesday's edition of AEW Dynamite on TBS, as well as Tuesday's edition of WWE NXT on the CW. Ace Austin leaves TNA Wrestling after his contract expires. We've got details on WWE's possible plans for Travis Scott to compete in a match at Money in the Bank later this year. We've got details on Darby Allin and MJF's availability for Double or Nothing on Sunday. An update on Zoe Stark after she suffered that gruesome injury Monday night on Raw. Paragon versus the Don Callis family is added to AEW Double or Nothing. More details on Goldberg's upcoming WWE retirement match later this year. Details on CM Punk and TNA Wrestling's talks before Punk returned to WWE in 2023. And another match has been added to the AEW Double or Nothing buy-in. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrest News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of professional wrestling. Before we begin, you can see right there, we're currently at 21,862 subscribers. So if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and join the ever-expanding WNU, that being the Wrestle News universe. In addition, you can become a member of the WN365 roster. You can scan the QR code when it appears on the sidebar, click the link in the video description below, or click the join button. You get your badges, your emojis, and your exclusive members-only content. In addition to that, whilst you're checking out the sidebar, you can see all upcoming watch-alongs and post-shows we've got here live on the channel this weekend. That includes tonight, Saturday night's main event live here on the channel for a watch-along and a post-show. And tomorrow, we'll have a watch-along and a post-show for AEW Double or Nothing. Now, let's begin with all of the drama regarding next year's WrestleMania now not taking place in New Orleans, Louisiana. Now, New Orleans may have lost WrestleMania next year, but it was announced on Friday that the city will host Money in the Bank in 2026 at a later date than WWE fans are used to. In a video statement posted to his X account, Paul Triple H Levesque announced the premium live event in 2026 will take place on August 29th. Levesque opened his statement by saying he was sure everyone had seen the news and the joint statement from TKO and the Greater New Orleans Sports Foundation on Thursday about, quote, the shift in some of the dates on the WWE calendar, end quote. He announced Money in the Bank would take place in New Orleans next year at the end of August. He told fans to stay tuned for more information about a WrestleMania in New Orleans to be announced at a later date. Quote, Money in the Bank is one of our biggest events of the year, with high stakes, amazing drama, and the chance of a lifetime for two WWE superstars to walk away with a coveted Money in the Bank briefcase, Levesque said. Quote, we can't wait and we look forward to seeing you there, end quote. Now, Money in the Bank is usually held between May and July. This year's Money in the Bank Premium Live event is set for June 7th in Los Angeles, California. The New Orleans date of August 29th will come after SummerSlam next year. Minneapolis, Minnesota is set to host a two-night SummerSlam in 2026 on August 1st and August 2nd at the US Bank Stadium. Now, of course, this comes after the news this week that WrestleMania 42 now will not be taking place in New Orleans next year, despite an announcement being made by The Rock on SmackDown earlier this year, with new reports suggesting that Las Vegas, the host of WrestleMania 41, could actually be hosting next year's WrestleMania 2. Now, this all started from an exclusive report from WrestleNomics late on Thursday, in which they said despite the announcement earlier this year, WrestleMania will not take place in New Orleans in 2026. This was according to a statement provided to WrestleNomics late on Thursday. Now, the statement provided by the Greater New Orleans Sports Foundation indicated that the event was being rescheduled to a later unspecified year, echoing what Levesque said yesterday. New Orleans was announced, as I mentioned, as the 2026 host city in February during a segment on SmackDown featuring The Rock revealing the location. Now, after the article was then published, the New Orleans NOLA.com reported that Las Vegas would be the host site of WrestleMania in 2026 for a second consecutive year. The Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority, which played a key role in bringing the 2025 event to the city, didn't immediately respond to WrestleNomics' message seeking confirmation. Now, rather than WrestleMania, WWE's Money in the Bank Premium Live events, as I mentioned, will be held in New Orleans in 2026. That news follows the recently announced UFC 318 card set for July 19, 2025 at the Smoothie King Center in the city. The events are part of a broader, quote, multi-event, multi-year agreement, end quote, being negotiated between local organizers and WWE and UFC's parent company, TKO Group Holdings. A specific date was later provided, as I mentioned, with Triple H revealing it yesterday. Quote, the Greater New Orleans Sports Foundation and New Orleans & Company are working closely with our friends TKO to expand our long-standing partnership, quote. The statement from the Greater New Orleans Sports Foundation reads, quote, which will include UFC 318 on July 19, 2025, Money in the Bank in 2026, and WrestleMania, which will move from the currently scheduled 2026 timeframe to a future year. The foundation described the statement as a joint message from both their organization and WWE. As mentioned, WWE later confirmed the news via Triple H with his post on social media. Now, as I mentioned, this generated a lot of reaction throughout pro wrestling, on social media, and about where things would be going moving forward. Now, as I mentioned, WrestleNomics dropped this shocking report revealing that WrestleMania 42 would no longer be in New Orleans. WWE confirmed the news to Fightful and other outlets, clarifying that it's part of a larger deal that will bring WrestleMania to the city in a future reveal. Fightful Select say they've learned of many reactions throughout the industry. Upon hearing the news, many WWE employees, staff, and talent were shocked. One talent noted they were surprised to see this past year's WrestleMania announced so late, with it being early May 2024. Now, with next year's not being announced officially as of yet, this puts it at one of the latest announcements for WrestleMania in recent memory. Talent that Fightful spoke to were largely unfazed, as WWE generally handles the planning and travel for those weeks and weekends anyway. Several of the talent that Fightful heard from said they hadn't even begun to think about next year's WrestleMania and haven't heard where it will be just yet. Now, Fightful have also been told this regime has been much more apt in waiting to say and announce any number of shows and are open to changes if the revenue generated is a significant increase. There was immediate frustration within the industry as a number of sources indicated that WrestleCon had already signed their venue contract for New Orleans. Fightful haven't been told of any other promoters that had already signed deals, but it is normal practice to start negotiating for venues almost a full year ahead of things. There was immediate posturing from a number of companies to find out where next year's WrestleMania would be moved to. Now, as I mentioned, New Orleans News is claiming that WrestleMania 42 is headed to Las Vegas. Now, shortly before 3 p.m. Eastern on Friday, someone formerly connected to WWE had intimated the same to Fightful. Those that were speaking to Fightful are expecting a date change. The early word that Fightful got was that no Las Vegas deal was finalized, but they were closing in on Allegiant Stadium once again for April 19th and April 20th. Of course, again, a two-night affair. Now, WWE, of course, with this confirmation, this bombshell that WrestleMania will not be going to New Orleans, Las Vegas is now reportedly the front runner to host the show of shows in 2026, and new details have come out regarding this move once again for Las Vegas to host the event for a second consecutive year. As per PW Insider, WWE is indeed closing in on a deal to take WrestleMania back to Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, which hosted WrestleMania earlier this year. The report claims that WWE has not completed the deal, but is close to completing it. WrestleMania 42, which was originally set to take place in Caesars Superdome in New Orleans, Louisiana on April 11th and April 12th, but the show is rumored to move to a week later to April 19th and April 18th, when it officially and eventually moves to Las Vegas. The report further added that WWE officials are keeping details about the switch close to the vest. New Orleans has hosted WrestleMania twice, WrestleMania 30 in 2014 and WrestleMania 34 in 2018, but now will have to wait a while to host the event once more, with New Orleans instead getting Money in the Bank next year. Now, reportedly, people are even making jokes within the industry about all of this because, of course, The Rock officially announced on the February 21st episode of Friday Night SmackDown that WrestleMania 42 would emanate from Caesars Superdome in New Orleans on April 11th and April 12th, 2026. Mike Johnson of PW Insider has reported this wasn't an example of The Rock making an announcement before the deal was done. WWE have instead decided to renege on their agreement with the authorities in New Orleans to the point that WWE have begun to cancel venue contracts they had signed for WrestleMania 42 weekend and may need to pay penalties to partners for breaking the contracts. But this hasn't stopped people within WWE reportedly from making jokes at The Rock's expense, with PW Insider noting that, quote, a few people in the company were joking that once again, something connected to The Rock went awry. Of course, this follows on from The Rock being a major factor in the build to the main event of this year's WrestleMania, that being WrestleMania 41, of Cody Rhodes versus John Cena in the main event, over his attempts to buy Cody Rhodes' soul. These attempts brought about the John Cena heel turn, but Dwayne Johnson was nowhere to be seen at WrestleMania, and the main event was widely panned. So, of course, there's a lot more to come with this story. If we get any more details, any more confirmation of WrestleMania 42 taking place once again in Las Vegas, we'll let you know. But what's your reaction to all of this? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Now, AEW Dynamite on Wednesday, we have the ratings for the Double or Nothing Go Home show. Wednesday night's AEW Dynamite episode averaged 575,000 viewers on TBS, which is down 15.7% from the previous week. This is the lowest audience total for the show since April 23rd, and is the third lowest viewership for Dynamite so far in 2025. Dynamite finished 6th of the night on the primetime cable charts with a 0.15 rating in the 18-49 demo. That number is down 11.8% from last week. It is also the lowest rating the show has done in that category since the April 23rd episode, and is Dynamite's third lowest rating of the year to date. The show went head-to-head with the New York Knicks versus Indiana Pacers Eastern Conference Finals game on TNT, which averaged 5.726 million viewers and topped the cable charts with a 1.89 rating in the 18-49 demo. In terms of the quarter-hour ratings, these come courtesy of WrestleNomics. Shout out to them, and be sure to subscribe to their Patreon service. There was also competition from the NHL's Western Conference Finals, with the Edmonton Oilers versus Dallas Stars averaging 1.46 million viewers on ESPN and a 0.45 demo rating. Dynamite was second on cable aside from programming related to the two games. As compared to the same week in 2024, Dynamite's overall viewership was down 19.4%, while its 18-49 rating was down 37.5%. Of course, this year's numbers do not include viewers streaming the show on the Max streaming service. Now, in terms of the ratings for NXT on Tuesday, we also have those numbers. This past Tuesday's episode of WWE NXT was the go-home show for Battleground this coming Sunday. With the card looking stacked heading into the premium live event, the program drew its best number since March against stiff sports competition. According to WrestleNomics, NXT averaged 697,000 viewers and posted a 0.13 in the key 18-49 demographic. When comparing both categories to the week prior, total viewership increased by 5% from 664,000 viewers, but the 18-49 demo declined by 13% from 0.15. Although the growth is marginal, NXT's viewership is up by 4% since May 2024, but unfortunately the same can't be said for the key demographic, with the developmental brand dropping by 30% in the category. Despite NXT's numbers in the 18-49 demo disappointing compared to last year, managing to pull nearly 700,000 viewers after going head-to-head with both the NHL and NBA playoff action is still impressive. The Minnesota Timberwolves versus Oklahoma City Thunder game on ESPN would lead the night in all cable, drawing 4.989 million viewers and average of 1.64 in the 18-49 demo. The Florida Panthers versus Carolina Hurricanes game on TNT also performed well, accumulating 1.296 million viewers and a 0.40 in the key demographic. Going forward, the biggest concern for NXT will be attracting viewers in the 18-49 demo, with the category being down by 25% compared to the first quarter of the year. However, with the NHL and NBA playoffs set to come to an end at the end of next month, hopefully NXT will see an increase in the demo moving forward, or manage to eclipse the 700,000 viewer mark in the near future. Now let's move over to TNA Wrestling, and a major name is now done with the company. TNA Wrestling has seen the exit of several stars over the last few months following the expiry of their contracts, with the latest being the former TNA World Tag Team and X Division champion Ace Austin. PW Insider has reported that Austin's deal with the promotion expired recently, and while both parties tried to renegotiate a deal to keep him in the promotion, they couldn't come to an agreement. Former TNA Wrestling president Scott WWE confirmed in his recent column about Austin's exit from the promotion, with him claiming that the split was on amicable terms. He added that Austin is ready to step up to the next level and feels it's a matter of time before he becomes a big star. Austin's match against Mustafa Ali, which aired this past week, was reportedly his final match with TNA Wrestling, bringing to an end his 6-year run in the promotion. Austin had signed an extension on his deal with TNA last March. Austin is a 3-time X Division champion and became an important player with TNA's tag team division when he teamed with his partner Chris Bay, with their partnership yielding 3 tag team titles. Now let's move on to Travis Scott and him possibly wrestling for WWE later this year. While John Cena's heel turn may have been one of the most unexpected things to occur in WWE so far in 2025, the second most unexpected occurrence may just be the presence of rapper Travis Scott in the promotion. Scott was on hand for Cena's heel turn back at Elimination Chamber and played a pivotal role at WrestleMania in helping John Cena overcome Cody Rhodes to win the undisputed WWE Championship. Since then, Scott has been out of sight, out of mind, which is a blessing for some who thought his WrestleMania involvement was a bit too much, but that may be changing soon as WWE heads towards the summer. On X, WrestleVotes has reported that WWE is planning to have Scott appear at their upcoming Money in the Bank PLE on June 7th. It appears this isn't a last-minute plan either, as Scott's involvement at the PLE has apparently been set in stone since before WrestleMania took place. No details were provided on whether the appearance would see Scott wrestle or if he'd merely be making an appearance. Whatever Scott is doing, logic dictates it will have something to do with Cena given their previous ties. Past reports have suggested that WWE might be looking to build up towards a match where Cena and Scott team up to face Rhodes and a partner, though no date has been given to the match, nor was any partner named for Rhodes. Now, going to AEW Double or Nothing this weekend, we have an update on some availability of some AEW stars. This weekend, All Elite Wrestling will head to the desert city of Glendale, Arizona, a vastly different scene from the snowy Mount Everest recently conquered by Darby Allin. Still, many fans have been eagerly awaiting Darby's return to AEW television, with AEW Double or Nothing in Glendale as a desired landing spot. Is it actually possible, though? According to a new report from Fightful Select, an appearance from Darby Allin at AEW's Double or Nothing is not impossible, given other reports circling the summer months as his realistic return timeframe. It still seems unlikely. Darby Allin last wrestled in December 2024 as part of the Continental Classic. In it, he scored 7 points courtesy of victories over Commander and Will Ospreay, as well as a time limit draw alongside Ricochet. Elsewhere, Fightful provided an update on the availability of former AEW World Champion Maxwell Jacob Friedman, who recently solidified his position as the newest member of the Hurt Syndicate. 2 of the existing members, Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin, will defend their AEW World Tag Team Championships against Dustin Rhodes and Sammy Guevara at Double or Nothing on May 25th. Despite not being announced for a match himself, MJF will reportedly be in Glendale for the pay-per-view event. On the afternoon of Saturday, May 24th, MJF is advertised for a photo-op and autograph session at the Toy Temple collectible store, also located in Arizona. Let's talk about Zoe Stark and more details regarding her gruesome injury suffered Monday night on Raw. Zoe Stark suffered an injury to her knee during Monday's episode of Raw, and it sounds as though it's going to take her out for a considerable amount of time. According to a new report from Fightful Select, the initial fear from those backstage is that Stark will be forced to miss the remainder of 2025. There is belief that Stark suffered some kind of tear to the muscles in her knee, but it's not yet clear if she'll require surgery. Stark's injury took place during a triple threat match on Monday, with the winner earning a spot in the upcoming Women's Money in the Bank ladder match. The wrestler attempted a dropkick against Kairi Sane, but due to what seemed like a miscommunication over positioning, Stark made an awkward landing with her leg being bent to the side. It was immediately clear that Stark was injured, and the referee paused the match to ensure she could get helped to the back. Continuing with Double or Nothing this weekend, another match has been added to the pay-per-view. The Paragon trio of Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong will take on the Don Callis family's Kyle Fletcher, Konosuke Takeshita and Josh Alexander at AEW Double or Nothing. Cole and Callis were both on commentary during this week's pre-taped AEW Collision airing on Thursday night, jibing back and forth as Fletcher emerged for his match against Jay Lethal. Lethal was emphasized as Cole's friend on commentary, with Fletcher going on to win and Takeshita and Fletcher emerging to ambush Lethal after the match. Cole left his commentary position as O'Reilly and Strong came down the ramp to make the save, leading into their tag team match against the Grizzled Young Veterans. The Paragon defeated GYV in that subsequent match, with Cole making the challenge to Callis and the family afterward for a trios match at Double or Nothing this weekend. Alexander re-emerged later during the show for his match against AR Fox, also picking up the win before Callis officially accepted the challenge and warned Cole that the walking weapon would stretch him. Tony Khan has since taken to social media with the official match graphic confirming the 10th match for Sunday's pay-per-view. Now, more details here when it comes to Goldberg's WWE retirement match later on this year. Having last appeared in WWE at Bad Blood in October 2024, Goldberg has recently been teasing a retirement match taking place this year. With the WWE Hall of Famer in training for an in-ring return, a new update has emerged courtesy of the star himself. Speaking on his CarCast podcast, Goldberg would reveal that training is still underway for his return, stating, quote, "I feel a little bit better. I've gained a little bit of weight, man. Done a little bit of kickboxing on the weekends. I'm getting there, man. I've got a little bit of time left. Slowly but surely, Rome wasn't built in a day." Now, more details as to just what this match is going to look like have come courtesy of Sean Rossap of Fightful Select, because indeed Goldberg's retirement match is set for this year, and some early indications are it could be in a strategic spot. Goldberg did an interview this week and noted that his retirement match was going to be in the South. Sources that Fightful Select have spoken to have been telling Fightful this week that tentatively it has been planned for Atlanta. Goldberg has long called Atlanta home, in addition to playing football for the Georgia Bulldogs and the Atlanta Falcons. Even more strategic is that while not officially announced, internally, Saturday night's main event is slated for Saturday, July 12th. This is the same day as AEW All In. While nothing is official and Fightful can't confirm this will be the actual retirement of Goldberg, he is absolutely being discussed for that planned show, according to SAP. Now let's go back over to TNA, and if you recall back in 2023, reports were indicating that CM Punk was in talks to sign with the promotion after he left AEW. Now details of the conversations between CM Punk and TNA Wrestling have now been revealed by former TNA president Scott D'Amore. In late 2023, it was reported that CM Punk could potentially sign with TNA Wrestling, having parted ways with AEW earlier that year. While Punk would make his WWE return at Survivor Series War Games in 2023, details of the conversations with TNA Wrestling have now emerged. Scott D'Amore recently revealed the content of those conversations in the D'Amore Drop column, noting that Punk never big-timed TNA Wrestling during their discussions. Quote, according to D'Amore, he knew it was a long shot that he'd be able to land the services of Punk, explaining, quote, it wasn't a well-kept secret that I tried to sign Phil to TNA after things with AEW fell apart. I knew it was a long shot. I knew I was asking him to work in smaller arenas than he had in a long time. He listened, he was interested, he never big-timed TNA once, and he conducted himself the way we'd all wish a professional would. Ultimately, he went back to WWE, which of course is where he belongs. Discussing Punk's return to WWE in November 2020 further, D'Amore would go on to reflect on the healing factor for the fans, stating, quote, CM Punk's 10-year journey back to WWE has been healing not just for Phil, but also like kids caught up in a messy divorce. For all those fans who love both WWE and Punk and hated seeing them take shots at each other. So more details when it comes to that. And finally, a match has been confirmed for AEW Double or Nothing's buy-in tomorrow night. A women's tag team match has been added to Double or Nothing. AEW have announced that Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford will team to face Harley Cameron and Anna Jay at AEW Double or Nothing. The bout was confirmed on the May 22nd edition of AEW Collision. Of course, that being on Thursday. But there you go, guys. Latest pro wrestling news for you. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. As you can see right there, we're currently at 21,863 subscribers. So if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe. You can also scan the QR code when it appears on the sidebar. Become a member of the WN365 roster. You get your badges, your emojis, and your exclusive members-only content. And whilst you're checking out the sidebar, you can see all upcoming watch-alongs and post-shows we've got here live on the channel. That includes tonight for Saturday night's main event for WWE and AEW Double or Nothing tomorrow. I appreciate everyone for tuning in, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.